The Big Old Belt Wrestling Podcast is on the air for this Thursday, 32218, and we are traveling at a pretty decent pace, cruise control, if you will, to the road on the road to WrestleMania. It is happening, 2 weeks from this weekend. You guys are going to be in New Orleans. I'm Jamal, the Big Old Belt Wrestling Podcast. 2 Chains is here with me. 2 Chains, how you doing, man?
That's good, my man. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Busy week, eventful week. And it's good to finally get it going on this Thursday. So, 2 weeks from this weekend, you're going to be in New Orleans for the all the shenanigans down there for WrestleMania.
That's right.
Now, I got to ask you off the bat, is there, outside of the event itself, of WrestleMania, and of course, being at the Superdome again and everything that is, I'm sure you were looking forward to a particular event or a particular matchup. Now that Daniel Bryan is confirmed and is back, whatever his WrestleMania moment will be, has that factored in to what you're going, the moments of your weekend down there? Or did you have like a special matchup or a special show in mind that's that you're really excited about down in New Orleans?
Hey, let me ask you something real quick.
Okay.
I'm watching Impact.
Why?
Is there any chance that EC3 is about to open up this case and get fired from Impact, or you think he's going to get the title shot?
I know the answer already. So what do you think?
I think he's going to get the title shot. I mean, they wouldn't fire their main guy, would they?
Well, considering that this was taped about 2 months ago and that he's already debuted for another program, I would assume that he's as good as gone, but that's just me.
These segments are just so irrelevant for that. But I mean, seriously, I think my ultimate, first of all, I just want to do a lot more than just WWE, obviously. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some progress talent for sure. People I won't be able to see on a regular basis. But if it came down to what I was looking forward to for WWE, I do think that NXT is going to put on a really stacked show. It's always one of those who's going to show up, who's going to debut, hoping we get some Dijak finally. But, NXT. But as far as Daniel Bryan being inserted to the picture, it makes the WrestleMania experience just a little bit better. WrestleMania is a very, very long stack card. Has a little bit of everything for everyone. So, Daniel Bryan being added, I think caters a little bit more to myself, sort of say. Good to have him back, and whatever they have him do is better than being on the sideline. So it's one of those stories that's easy to really get behind. So,
Now, I saw a tweet earlier this week from our boy Mike from Nova Pro Wrestling. Shout out to Mike and all the good people in Nova Pro. He said that this WrestleMania could be the greatest of all time. I saw an article on NBC Chicago asking that same question: is this WrestleMania too hyped? And I don't want to ask you like necessarily, is this the WrestleMania the greatest of all time? Because Michael Cole says that every single year. But does he have a case this year about this WrestleMania being one of the better ones in at least recent memory?
Let me see real quick before I forget the number.
The number?
What number? Okay. So WrestleMania 18 is something I would consider one of the best WrestleMania of all time. It's because of WrestleMania isn't on paper who's the best wrestler versus the best wrestler. It's absolutely the collaboration of star power all put into one building to put on an ensemble beyond expectation. And the matchups are there, but there's no one on the caliber of The Rock on this show, and there's no one on the caliber of Hulk Hogan on this show. So, that's what WrestleMania is for me. It's just, what's going to be the big wow factor? And I don't think there's no star power that can live up to any one of those two. And that's speaking from someone who appreciates the business as far as, what the workers do in the ring. And that's also speaks from the child in me that says, like, I love WrestleMania because of the power, because of the special interests and stuff like that.
I got to be honest with you. I'm looking at the card for WrestleMania 18 specifically because I don't really remember that one. And now I know why. It's not very good. But speaking of me personally, I'm not a fan of The Rock, and I was never a fan of Hulk Hogan. So there's no way that they could have sold me on that match, and I know that's a big deal for people. But the main event was Triple H versus Jericho, and then they had The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. Kurt Angle versus Kane, I remember being a pretty decent match. Maven was a hardcore champion at the time, so I wouldn't put that in my top 5, WrestleMania 18. But with that said, though, should people be actually hyped for this one, though?
Yeah.
Bryan's coming back. Asuka is on a tear. There's a lot of intrigue for it, but how much of that is it just being WrestleMania?
It's exactly what it is. It's just a lot of it just being WrestleMania. Again, the Asuka Charlotte matches is WrestleMania caliber. And I will say this too. I mean, WWE did give a lot of WrestleMania caliber matches throughout the year. So, it's not the ultimate build up that finally these two people meet each other because, we got some of that already. But like I said, this is just a good stat card that has a little bit of something for everyone. Just something for everyone to be a fan of at some point of it. So, and it better be for a 7-hour show. It better will be.
Well, officially, there are 11 matches scheduled, and you have Brock versus Roman Reigns for some reason. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. The Miz versus Rollins and Balor. Nia Jax versus Bliss. Charlotte versus Asuka, and much more. It could be interesting. I mean, it could be interesting. Personally, I know that you're going to be there. Once it was announced and stuff like that, you guys jumped on it and said, no, New Orleans, you got to be there. I don't know if I'm even going to watch it this year, honestly. There isn't a single match. And before you go ahead and dismiss it as crazy, there really isn't a single match that I need to see. Maybe Charlotte versus Asuka for the Women's Championship of SmackDown. Maybe Bliss versus Nia Jax for the Women's Championship of Raw. But I'm not really moved or compelled to sit there for 7 hours and watch, WrestleMania. I don't know. It looks like another year where NXT is going to steal the show again.
It might be. I mean, that's not a problem at all. I mean, I was a little bit critical about it at first, but again, I think this is just a good enough show that gives a little bit of something for everyone. So, take it for what it is. It's one of those, things.
Now, WrestleMania is in New Orleans this year, obviously. Next year, April 7th, they're going to be in the beautiful downtown East Rutherford, New Jersey, just outside of the smaller town called New York City. How likely is it that you go to New York for WrestleMania?
I'm just not a fan of the code, so I have no clue. As far as travel efficiency, sure. I mean, it makes sense. It's right around the corner, 4-hour drive for us, but just not a fan of the code, man. I mean, you're already getting a few rumors about what's going to end up being some matches for it, but we'll see. We'll definitely see.
I got to be honest with you. I haven't been to a WrestleMania since 29 in New Jersey in 2013.
That was Cena and The Rock, right?
Cena and The Rock again because of reasons.
That wasn't a bad card.
Yeah, it was. No, it was trash. But realistically, though, I'm not. It's 50-50 that I go to WrestleMania just because I'm not interested. But there's going to be a ton of indie shows there. I would argue more so than New Orleans, because there are a lot of indie promotions between Nova Pro and the guys, a ton of stuff in Philly. New York has a ton of stuff. New Jersey has a ton of stuff. Boston's going to come down and represent. Hopefully, Toronto is going to come down and represent. So with Pittsburgh, that's actually more exciting to me than the actual WrestleMania show being at Giant Stadium or whatever they call it now. But that actually gets me really excited and makes me want to book my hotel for New York for 5 days, because you already know that Progress and Evolve and everybody else and WrestleCon, that's going to be nuts.
Yeah. I mean, but that's also part of the WrestleMania experience is, meeting the wrestling community, friends and people of that sort. And then the promotions who all come together in one area to put on some of their best shows and lineups for the year. So, I mean, absolutely, that's absolutely a probable reason to want to make the trip, especially like it's right there. So, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, so that's going to be, pretty interesting. We had the final deletion on this past Monday on Raw. We'll talk about that in depth in a bit. Should they do? Obviously, they've set the table that they can do it. Should they do it again? And obviously, WrestleMania is sooner than later. Should they do it again? Sometime after that.
Wait, the ultimate deletion.
Whatever the hell it's called. Somebody can delete it.
Don't black Mick Foley and Mick Foley and be like the final deletion, because they don't acknowledge that.
Oh, well, that's true too.
I was cool. I was a little worried. I didn't know what to think about it. I didn't know how much tampering was going to be with WWE, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. Pretty mad I can't see it again, because Hulu obviously decided that that was not important for them in their 90-minute package for Raw. Yeah.
So when that ended the show though. So on Hulu they didn't have.
Nah.
Wow, that is not okay.
Yeah, so I went back to watch it come Tuesday morning to watch it again. I was like, wait a minute. So, but yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed it. The effects, the nostalgia of the TNA version of it was there. It actually had a legit purpose to it as well, as Bray Wyatt was thrown into the what do you call it? The
lake of reincarnation.
Yes, the lake of reincarnation. So maybe there's a repackaging of something of him coming soon. But it was cool. Even Brother Nero made an appearance after all that puffing their chest of they don't need him. So confused about that. But whatever.
They don't. I mean, they don't. We've covered that.
I mean, again, if you don't need the guy, you don't need him. You don't get to not need a person and then still use them. You know what I mean?
Right. And I don't think he should have been there.
Well, obviously.
I mean, he didn't add anything. He didn't do anything.
He did as much as their pops did for it. So,
Senor Benjamin, put some respect on that man's name.
Senor Benjamin.
How dare you?
Is no one going to talk about how he pushed the lyrics to "He Got the Whole World in His Hand"?
No, that was the remix.
Yeah, because he missed one whole word in that. He got the whole world. Oh, how did he say it? I don't know. But he messed it up, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, Spanish is hard. I mean, it is. But I mean, I will say that I didn't watch it live, but the ultimate deletion was actually better than I give it credit for. I don't think anything's going to touch the spontaneity of the TNA stuff, and it would be unfair to compare the two. Mm-hmm. Because the TNA stuff was just magical, and given the context of the matches, TNA being on its last leg, that damn owl, the public, the tiff between the Hardys and TNA management, and then they put on the show, arguably one of the most memorable things in a long time, and with the total nonstop deletion. So WWE definitely has set a precedent, and maybe they'll burn the House of Horrors footage and never go back to that ever again.
Okay, yeah, because that happened. Almost forgot about that.
Right, good. You should have. Continue to do so. Now, with the final deletion happening and Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt going at it, what does this do for Bray Wyatt? You have a guy that really isn't championship material. It doesn't seem to be making any inroads there. He got deleted by Matt Hardy, and maybe he'll come back as something, and whatever that means to him. But they don't really seem to have a cardinal direction for Bray Wyatt, and I don't really know why that is. Do you think him losing to Matt Hardy helps his short-term career?
Yeah, because I'm thinking everybody was pretty much sick of him jobbing for everyone and really not having no direction. So, yeah, I mean, they finally got to get together, something that's been teased for a long time. I mean, we look at the two characters, even being on two different promotions, you knew it made sense for them to work with each other. So you get it over with, in which they did. He worked Finn Balor, so you got that out the way. So it's time for him to move on and reassert him as a dominant force that he can be. I mean, he cuts great promos. He's good on mic. He has good work. He's been healthy outside of the viral infection that he got.
Yeah, meningitis, something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, the guy deserves to reassert himself. Maybe to use his own creative to be repackaged and come back with something new, because the whole Wyatt family thing is long gone. I mean, everyone else from the Wyatt family done been repackaged, so I think it's time for him to go. Or even, I don't even think the little does he even come out with the little what do you call the little thing?
Lantern?
Yeah, the lantern. Does he even do that anymore? It doesn't matter.
Well, had it at the last thing, the deletion. So
yeah. Well, either way, it doesn't matter now, because that's just how irrelevant he's been. So yeah, I think this is fair. Good send off, and good for him to be a part of this. And because eventually the Hardys will be a tag tandem doing this. So with him being by himself, it just wasn't going to work down the line.
So then that begs the question: does Bray Wyatt need the Bludgeon Brothers?
How do the Bludgeon Brothers need him? I don't even know what to say about that.
No, I mean, but seriously though, because the Wyatt family, since that broke up and split and whatever, that's dissolved. Braun's got his push and he's doing his own thing, and good for him, and rightfully so. Bray Wyatt's really been stuck in neutral with very few signs of general, I don't want to say growth, but improvement. Rowan and Harper, except for the injury bug that they've been battling, for the last 18 months or so, really has been stuck in neutral as well. And basically, the SmackDown tag team division has only been the Usos and the New Day.
Right.
So, do you think that they not necessarily do they need to be together, but is Bray Wyatt as this leader? He's a shepherd without a flock, and he kind of looks like a loser now. So, should they get them back together?
I don't know. To be honest, I really don't know. I think the Bludgeon Brothers may work. Maybe given enough time, but Bray Wyatt needs something, and I just do not know. So that's why I think it's a safe bet to be able to let him go down his own creative path, something that fits him, and give him a chance to with that. It worked for a lot of other people, Usos, Naomi, New Day. So most of the people who's able to be themselves and very good on mic, or a little substantial on mic, it'll be okay.
But since Jeff is going to come back eventually, assuming he doesn't drunk drive his way into a tree, I'm not saying that it should happen immediately, but the Wyatt family with the trio of the Wyatt family versus the Hardys and another tag team apocalypto, it seems to that should be a thing, because obviously Bray and Matt aren't done.
I guess the shakeup, if it does happen, I guess that's where we can make the argument there for, should someone in this puzzle be jumping ship? So, well, we'll see. We'll definitely see. I'm very optimistic about it. Hopefully, Bray takes some time off TV as well. Seriously, I don't think he needs to be a Royal Rumble. I mean, if he comes back in the Rumble, I mean, not the Rumble, the Battle Royal, so what? But He doesn't need to be on WrestleMania. Just a job again. I don't think he's won, he's never won a singles match at Royal Rumble at WrestleMania. So who knows?
Yeah,
I guess maybe Monday we find out too as well.
True. I think I agree with you. I think some time off would do him good, and maybe he comes back inserted into the picture of Money in the Bank.
Yeah, or make him and JoJo a tandem. They got chemistry.
They certainly do.
She's certainly over.
She definitely is, and for good reason. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. But so the big news of this week, and yes, we did bury the lead. I don't care. We talked about it briefly, but Daniel Bryan it's official. He's back, and whatever you think of his ability to come back and wrestle again, notwithstanding, is it the right move for him to come back? Because this does set a precedent. We don't know the specifics of Paige's injury. We know that she's been told that she'll never wrestle again, but so is Daniel Bryan. There is a great risk with both Daniel Bryan and Paige and their health outside of wrestling as they in their retirement years that they'll carry with them for the rest of their life. And they would gladly say that that's what the business is and they deal with it. But things happen. Things definitely happen in the ring, in anything, in football, hockey, whatever sport, where you can't be too cautious. What does WWE do? Not if, but when something goes wrong with Daniel Bryan in the ring.
Okay, so my whole feeling on this is there's injuries and risk in any sport. Okay. If wrestling's not considered a sport to you, then there's injuries and risk in any performing art. And if someone is passionate enough to take the risk and to continue in their career in it, then you have got to trust in them and their ability to be smart about this, as well as medicine, rehabbing, and research. And when we're talking about you representing a company, a major company, we know there's liability. We know there's contractual clauses and stuff that can put the major company at fault, which can cost them millions of dollars. I mean, we're looking at the NFL with concussions right now, and they're getting cleaned up left and right from people from years ago with lawsuits. So, Vince McMahon getting ready to start XFL again. He's had XFL before, which probably going to be a conversation within the coming weeks about their competition about that. And with him having an eye of how to run a football organization, considering that you're not the most dominant football conversation, so you have to be a student to what it takes to be the alpha football promotion or company. Of course, they're looking down the issues, and he even spoke about it in the XFL press conference about concussions and stuff like that. So they're aware. With all that being said, that would be pretty damn dumb for them to release a guy knowing that he was a major liability and could cost them money or whatever it may be if he wasn't cleared to go. And then Daniel Bryan's not making this decision just for himself. He was very vocal about his wife being there. His wife may not have had any type of serious injuries, but her sister did. So her husband did, and I believe John Cena even had like a neck stinger at a point. And John Cena is probably connected with all the top guys all over the world as far as how he rehabbed that and so on. I'm pretty sure he probably called up Kobe and Peyton Manning and asked them who their guy was. You know what I mean? So I think when you think about that and you kind of be open to the situation, I feel like everything that could have been done was done. And he wanted to do it and he did it. He's very passionate about his wife. He's very passionate about his kid. So I don't think he would have took a risk of this sort, knowing the repercussions that may fall apart. Now, Paige as well. Just give it some time. They haven't. She hasn't even announced her retirement. So there's some optimism as well with her as well. They got her still close to the ring. Daniel Bryan, they say, no, get the hell away from the ring. And anybody else that's doing anything. You know what I mean? So,
let me ask you this, though. Has Paige taken a bump since the word came out that she is out of the ring?
No, but she's been damn close to taking one. So, you know what I mean? Like, because she runs in that stable, and most of their tactics are like ambushes and so on. You know, she's very, very closely by certain situations where, you know, she could actually not get out the ring fast enough, trip or whatever it may be. So, you know, nonetheless, there's optimism as far as what her being able to seek the proper rehab. Obviously, she can go back to the UK, where a lot of the athletes here have went to get science and medicine. So I'm sure, you know, her career is not over. She hasn't announced her retirement. So he's back. I'm sure he's done everything he needed to do. And they finally decide to release him to activate him. What's the word? Clear him. Sorry. I keep wanting to say activate him. But anyway, nonetheless, to bring him back. And I think it's the right time because one, ratings hurting. Maybe they was a little bit worried about AJ's status for WrestleMania, considering he was rumored to have an injury coming from the Madison Square Garden show. So, you know, if anything, you don't want WrestleMania to take any type of hit on publicity or ratings. So Dan Bryan absolutely helps. I mean, clearly the Yes Movement was one of the biggest things coming out of the last time it was in New Orleans. So I just think when you think a lot of the factors considered here, I think it's just one of those things where people just need to just, you know, be happy that he was able to make it back to this point. And he's gonna work.
I mean, you say be happy that he's able to make it back to this point. And obviously, you know, the doctors know more than we do. You know, he feels a certain way about it, and it's true. And you don't really know, you know, it's 50-50. You know, you can walk out the street and be as healthy as John Cena, get hit by a bus and killed. The point is that it is a risk, and he has a greater risk for a permanent injury, considering the severity of what put him on the show for like the last 18 months. So my thing is that there's a lot of people going to be on the Daniel Bryan bandwagon that didn't know he existed before WrestleMania 30. I mean, let's be honest. People are talking about Daniel Bryan. His ass is trending worldwide for some reason, and people want to get in on it, knowing good and damn well that they never heard of the American Dragon before WrestleMania 30. So that's all fun. That's all well and good.
Yeah.
But with that said, the fans that were with him, or even the people that weren't with him, because I know who Daniel Bryan is. I was never really a fan. And that's why it's harder for me to justify him rushing, so to speak, because it has been a year plus, rushing to get back. Yeah, and to get back and do things. What do you expect from him in the ring? Obviously, he's not going to be doing any diving headbutts, because that's what scrambled his eggs in the first place. But how do you think a measured, you know, maybe toned down Daniel Bryan will work? Fine. Or will fans not really give a shit because they're just following the hype?
It ain't gonna be toned down. It's gonna be basically what the Miz has been working for the last year plus. It's the same moveset. So exactly the same. He'll be fine. He'll be absolutely fine. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, hope not. Because obviously,
I mean, seriously,
if it goes wrong, it's going really wrong.
How many people were out there? I mean, we could talk about some people that sustained some very serious injuries in other sports that came back. I mean, Sean Livingston, I believe, still is in the NBA, and I've seen his leg turn into spaghetti.
Right. How many people have brain injuries? That's very different than a compound fracture.
No, for sure. No, for sure.
Bryan had bleeding in his brain and seizures.
Okay. As they said. But nonetheless, we're talking about football player. Joe Hayden had a concussion. I believe he was on the Browns at the time, and he was out for 8 weeks from a concussion. Could not pass concussion protocol. Most people that feel concussion is out. Maybe that game, and maybe the following game. But 8 weeks for a concussion is also like, wait a minute, that is like unheard of. He's still in the NFL. I think he was injured again later last year for something. But people like that, Luke Kuechly, one of my favorite players on my team, always endangered for concussions. He's still playing. I mean, again, he's one of the best linebackers out there when he's on the field. And it's not that I'm trying to stretch the performance on the field over their health, but I mean, again, you're talking about doctors and family involvement and the liability for the company that they're working for. I think they handle it as like, just like a doctor, and when it comes to liability, tell the worst scenario so that they're not at fault for anything, but may not always measure to be as bad or severe as they say it is. So I don't know. I don't think there's nothing to worry about here. And I think we came a long way as far as concussion protocol, brain injuries, and they're still making a lot of progress in CTE as well. So, we'll see.
Shout out to Gunnar Miller with the CTE.
That's kind of controversial here.
Is it?
Yeah, because if no one knows what that's his finisher is called,
well, they want to look it up.
You just gave a shout out to someone who got CTE.
Yep, sure did.
Who has a move called the CTE, people?
That's right. So one thing that I found interesting, and
by the way,
I didn't know,
Cabana Man Dan did return at the last Never Pro show.
He's not dead?
No, he's not.
Wow.
He was also he's also part of the safety squad, which is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
As he should be. Because I'm pretty damn sure that duct tape is holding his ass together. One thing I found interesting over the last couple of days of research, apparently the Book of Booty is out now. Now don't get me wrong, it's not the booty that I was thinking about. The New Day wrote a book, right?
They're trying to reach in every market possible, man. I mean, I won't be surprised if they got some type of app coming up soon.
The Big Booty New Day app. I think it could happen.
Yeah,
the New Day wrote a book, and some of the subjects that they cover. And just in case you need help in your personal life, you can take some advice from the New Day via this book. Some of the topics that they cover is how to project positivity, which is a good thing. The proper attire and headwear for the new you. Also, how to twerk like a man. So. I mean, if you're just in case, you wanted to step your twerking game up, dude, then that's a thing that the New Day can help you out with. So that's, it's good. It's available at Barnes & Noble, so for $22. And I was surprised to see that the New Day has a book. Newsday reviewed the book and said that it was actually pretty fun. Nothing really like objectionable about like hardcore wrestling stories or nothing like that, like other books on the road, like Flair's book or Foley's second book or something like that. But I mean, good for them. I mean, good for them for staying relevant. Everything that they've ever done, they got their hands on in everything. So good for the New Day. They just need to not wrestle the Usos 7 times in a week. Did you see this? Tommaso Ciampa has an open challenge.
Yep. I'm with that. Yeah, so get your grandmas ready because he's taking them all.
So he said in a tweet, open challenge. I will fight any grandma, any day, anytime. # grandmas don't scare me. 9:22 a.m. this morning. And then naturally, because he put it out there, Anita Smith, who is a grandma who was front row at Full Sail at the last show, said, I'll be there next show. See you there. So if you're getting called out, that is great heel work. If you're getting called out by grandmas around Florida, and there's a lot of them in Florida.
That's right.
So actually, I'm not saying book it, Vince, but I'm interested. Definitely interested.
Now y'all talking about worried about taking a bump. one for her, and that's it. That's it. Even the slightest bump.
If Kenny Omega can wrestle a 7-year-old, I think Grandma can go out there and Ciampa can go out there and make some magic happen.
Yo, what move did he give him again? Oh, wait. I'm trying to think. What else did they do to a kid? No, what did he do to the kid?
He gave him like a shining wizard and like beat him in the face.
I'm trying to think. Did the Young Bucks give like a kid the Meltzer driver too?
Pretty sure they did. I want to say it happened on the PWG show. So while we were watching, while people were watching the Ultimate Deletion on Raw to end the show, if you were in Dallas, you didn't see it. Now, the first question is, do you think that you're having the last match of the show be pre-taped? Do you think that was the right move to not air it for the live audience? I mean, granted, they would have just been watching the Scores TV with the rest of the world, for like the last 20 minutes of the show. But do you think that's the right move?
There's no other way they could have did it, right?
Well, so what they did instead of that, they had a dark match. While we were
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm confused. You're talking about the live audience wasn't able to see it.
So while we were watching the Ultimate Deletion in Dallas, they were watching Strowman versus Kane.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Why not? I mean, whatever. I mean,
right.
I think it's like one of those type of things that you did live. Do you want to watch something pre-recorded? I mean, didn't they get people like mad as hell about that at Raw 25? Being able to watch the feed from the other one while they were there. So I'm sorry. But
you knew this going in though.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only pick one show. And if you went to Manhattan Center, then that's what it was going to be. And if you went to Barclays, that's what it was going to be. So whatever it was, you was going to miss something regardless.
Yeah.
But with this thing, if you paid for a 3-hour show and the last 20 minutes of it was pre-recorded on and tape delayed for you, would you rather watch the Ultimate Deletion live, on TV, or would you rather watch Strowman versus Kane in a match that doesn't really mean anything? I mean, those people in the audience, had to go home and watch what the world was already talking about, and they were at the show.
I mean, I'd rather have watched the Ultimate Deletion, no doubt, but it's not always about us. I mean, the kids, they probably could have gave a hell about it. So Kane versus Braun Strowman, I mean, that's like a dream match for the youth. I'm just waiting to see if EC3 about to be fired. I'm pretty sure he's not. Well,
so about the Ultimate Deletion, I was surprised to see that it was a segment on Raw. Do you think it should have been a bigger deal, a bigger build? I mean, a segment on Raw is one thing, and that's how they ended the show, and that's whatever. But I think the Ultimate Deletion could have been a 30-minute, maybe even a half-hour special. They already taped it off-site.
No, because one, it was already annoying that there was commercials in it, and then you don't want to do too much. TNA didn't do it, so you just do the 15 to 20-minute segment, and that's it. It was cool.
That's like, why couldn't that have been a network special?
No, they don't even get that together right. Most of the things that should be already, without a doubt, a network special isn't. So, I think they did it right. I don't think there's nothing to be changed about it. I'd be anticipating the next one for sure.
Well, I mean, the reason why I say that is because if I were to go to Dallas and don't see the match and I got to watch it at home or on my phone from the building, then that's annoying. If I'm, at watching it at home and I got to sit through commercials, for, Mop and Glow and whatever the hell while the Ultimate Deletion's on, that's annoying. So just put it on a network and let everybody get to see it. It's already taped. It's not
the replay. I'm sure the replay is eventually going to get on the network in a collection. So you get there eventually. You definitely do.
Yeah. So. Well, true. True. But it's supposed to be live, and that's that's just annoying. That's all. Also, while people were at home watching the Ultimate Deletion, Ronda Rousey came out. Yay! And she had an interaction with Dana Brooke. Which, yeah. So that happened. And so I guess they did get two, little segments or whatever, a dark match and Dana Brooke getting thrown around, who is surprisingly still in the main roster and not back down in NXT. I don't know. I really don't know, what to make of that, but pretty decent plan by WWE to go with that. Airing a 20-minute long taped segment. So I don't know. So
you brought up this crap, so you better have some solution to this, a resolution to this.
Well, no, I said it already. I think they should have had it on the network and have everybody watch it.
No, I'm talking about the Ronda Rousey Dana Brooke thing.
Well, see, the thing is, they brought out Ronda Rousey because they had the thing on TV. I would have been pissed if I could have been watching the Ultimate Deletion with everybody else. Instead, I get Ronda Rousey versus Dana Brooke in like a throwaway 5-minute long segment.
It's okay. Like, it'll eventually get on the network and everybody will be able to watch it. It is what it is. And I don't think there's much to be made of it. They handle it to the best extent they could.
Well, I mean, I guess, but still, it's like, ugh. I would have been mad if I were there, honestly. WWE is actually going to be in town this weekend at in Fairfax. Tickets apparently start at $15, and I believe that they lowered the price since I last looked. I think tickets used to start at $25, but it's a WWE house show. It is SmackDown. It could be interesting. I mean, SmackDown does have a decent amount of people that I like. New Day and the Usos and Charlotte. And is it possible? Is it worth it to go to a WWE house show?
No. No. For what? Talking about throwaways. You just got mad about them giving 2 throwaways after a Raw. You want to see a whole show of throwaways?
But the difference is that Raw is like a thing, and it's a televised thing, and it's a special thing. A house show is just a house show. It's $15. I know what I'm getting, and the quality is not attributed to a house show. So whatever. And this for the same reason why, like in a month, we'll be at NXT. You'll be front row, and I'll be up in the rafters. But we know what price we're getting for that.
Okay, but again, that's a TV taping, so that's fine. This SmackDown thing is completely irrelevant. I didn't even know, quite frankly. So that's how much I wasn't even caring about it.
I was tempted because tickets were $15, but it is kind of like, but it's a house show, and it starts at 5:00, and that's another reason why I was tempted. But it is on Sunday, so it's probably not. The last thing I have for tonight is. We try not to get political on here because we can do that every other hour of the day. But Donald Trump and Joe Biden have been going at it on Twitter. That's a fact. Terry Funk, who has thrown his hat in the ring and he wants to make it a triple threat match. Terry Funk said to Uprocks in response to a speech that Joe Biden made yesterday, and Trump retorting on Twitter to the words said by Biden. Terry Funk said that if those guys went at it, it would be a very shitty thing to watch. I love to get in the ring with those two assholes. Both of them at once would be fine by me. They don't even have to tag in. If either one of them is looking for an ass kicking, tell them to call me up. I'm over 70. I'm not saying that it should happen, but you have two Hall of Famers, two WWE Hall of Famers, and a former vice president.
Let's not forget that.
In a triple threat match with a combined age of 215 years old.
No.
No?
Absolutely no.
I mean, Terry Funk will whoop all their asses. So I'm definitely, I definitely think it could happen. I'm not saying it should, but stranger things have happened this year.
Hell with that.
So, right. So it's been an interesting, past, like 48 hours with the news of Daniel Bryan coming back and, the WrestleMania, thing, just going on. I think what's interesting down in New Orleans is probably the biggest match that nobody's talking about, and that is Dalton Castle versus Marty Scurll. Now, if you're Ring of Honor, Castle versus Scurll for the Ring of Honor Championship at a Supercard of Honor, is it a problem that that's not the main event?
No.
Really? I mean, it's the Ring of Honor Championship. There isn't anything bigger than that, except Cody versus Kenny.
Right, exactly. The same. WWE does it all the time. The belt don't sell seats. It's the star power that sells seats. So the biggest names, the biggest icons, is the reason why people are coming. Thus,
but shouldn't they be the champion then? Isn't that why Brock Lesnar is the champion? Because of his name? Because he's that guy, the prize fighter, and all that.
Yeah, to that red belt, that one. So
right.
He's not the. That's the B belt. You know what I mean? The argument about this is something that I may have made this argument about 2 years ago, but it is what it is. The belt is, the belt is considered. It is what it is. It's prestigious to its own being, but it's not ultimately what makes people buy tickets. So the fact that Ring of Honor has sold as many tickets as it's ever had in its long tenure and being a promotion, it's ultimately because we're getting Kenny Omega versus Cody Rhodes, the Bullet Club, one of the hottest stables, one of the highest grossing selling factions out there, doing their damn thing all over the place, Hot Topic, wherever it may be. So them two is ultimately the reassurance that they have that All In's going to work, and is the reason why this many tickets have been sold. So yeah, Kota Ibushi's going to be on that card. I think Tanahashi's on that card, I believe as well too.
I believe so, yeah.
So yeah, very hot names come from New Japan. Not the reason that there's some tickets. Now, granted, if Okada came over and did anything over here, you can best believe that he will headline because of his name, being the face of the company, the belt, all that, and star power too. I mean, he's as big as an icon in the wrestling world as anyone else.
I mean, yeah, sure he is, and that's fine. But isn't that part of the problem that it just diminishes what Castle has done as Ring of Honor champion and that lineage and all of that? I mean, I agree with you with star power, and that does sell tickets. But what does that do for Ring of Honor going forward, as their basis for their run is based on the belt? I mean, this Bullet Club thing will eventually blow over. It has to. It's just a story arc that will have an end sooner than later, and that end will probably be at All in September. But the Ring of Honor title, or the Ring of Honor ring, that Cody has, or whatever, is forever. So putting the title on the back burner seems problematic for Ring of Honor. That's already playing catch up to still playing catch up to WWE definitely, and Impact still. My point is, they can't just rely on the Bullet Club to save them every time.
Or could they?
No, they can't, because something's got to give. Something's going to happen. It's not just going to be the Bullet Club anymore. Whatever that is, the time will pass, but the belt will be there.
It doesn't matter. Right now is all that matters. When they cross that road, when they have to figure out how they're going to move on from this, I mean, they'll do it. But right now, while it's hot and it's still selling, the merch is still going, the seats are still being bought, go with it. And I get it. You think down the line, this is not going to be hot forever. We've seen NWO completely destroy a company. No doubt. But right now, while it's working and why, you're able to actually see the results as far as again, them selling as many tickets as they've ever sold, you go with it. I mean, that could granted, I do think the resolve comes at All In, but they could ultimately drag this out all the way to the end of Cody's contract. Or Omega's contract, who's also up around the same time at the end of the year, beginning of January. So, it's fine. And as far as the belt is just another storyline. Yes, in the promotion, you should be chasing the gold. But that also gives someone purpose for a storyline to say, I'm here for the gold, or I'm here for the supremacy of the Bullet Club, or I don't like the Bullet Club. Just, different angles or different ways to create relevancy to people. I mean, what's his name? Switchblade came out of nowhere and all of a sudden was just in the picture for I'm going to face Cody next, or who was it? Or yeah, Cody. So it's just a matter of having people being able to chase different things, and if it's not the belt, the secondary belt, the tag belts, or the hottest wrestler or the most popular person, it is what it is.
True, but you're not just hot for no reason, unless you're just in the Bullet Club. And I think you have to still follow the protocol and establish, and then build. You have to build. So you can't just go, oh, Bullet Club, print money. It is working that way now. And then when it doesn't, now what? And honestly, I know that a lot of, obviously, the thing that they're building is Cody versus Kenny and how big I think Dalton Castle versus Marty Scurll is the low-key match of the weekend. Nobody's talking about it. It is for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. I think Supercard of Honor is arguably their best show that they're going to put on this year. Or definitely so far. There's only 8 matches, and every single one seems to be a must-see. Yeah. I may wind up paying the $35 and just renting it on PSN.
It'll be good, no doubt. It would definitely be good. I mean, like I said, it's their biggest card, and you got to put on your biggest matches. You need to use help from New Japan if you have to, and then go for it. But it'll be fine.
Now, as good as the Ring of Honor card seems to be, doesn't make a dent in what NXT is going to be doing at the exact same time.
Yeah, of course. You just said why. And we both just said why.
No, because you never underestimate the power of WWE fanboys.
No, I get that. But I mean, when you talk about, and if I'm not mistaken, the Lucha Underground versus TNA is also at the same time. There's been a big roar about people going to that. So it's to each his own. That's why I said, like, this whole weekend is just a matter of being able to map out where you want to go, what you want to do, and an opportunity to see people or promotions that you may not ever have an opportunity to see in your local area. So, I would never bash anybody for going to TNA versus Lucha, because that could be damn good. But for instance, I know it's going to be on Twitch. I know it's gonna be on Twitch, so I know I could. I know I could watch that at the wee hours of the night if I want in the room and catch up on it. But and also I can do that with NXT because I got the network. But that ROH show, I may not be able to see that again without paying like $35, which is equivalent to one subscription of $9.99. And Twitch is free, so there's that. So there's an argument to wherever you want to go, whoever you want to see, or whatever you feel may steal the show. WWE promotion definitely triumphs. NXT credibility triumphs. But Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas, that is an underrated match that no one may be talking about as well too.
True.
And that right there can go toe to toe with Dalton Castle versus Marty Scurll, because that again, that's a very great match. Matter of fact, is Okada working anywhere Mania weekend?
Not in the U.S. Not that I know of.
Huh. Wonder why is a big star like him wouldn't take the opportunity to be booked somewhere or even appearance. Is he even at WrestleCon or anything?
As far as I know, Okada's not in the U.S. For WrestleMania weekend. But I guess the question is does he have to?
Yeah,
I know that he's a huge. Well, obviously, why not? Sure, there's money to be made. But to him, it's not worth the 24-hour travel day that it takes to get from from Japan to New Orleans. Maybe it's not worth it, to fly all the way over from Japan for a WrestleCon appearance.
That's why if it's going to be worth it, that Brinks truck better be right there when I land.
Right.
So the question is it worth it? It damn sure could be worth it, but who got those dividends to do it? No one in the area.
Right. I mean, the only company rather that would be able to, not necessarily because Ring of Honor has money, they just don't spend it. But I can't really see Okada showing up at like Matt Riddle's Bloodsport or Pancakes and Power Drivers. I'm not that he shouldn't be there, but like, why would he? Why would he fly from Japan to do that, or to do WrestleCon when he can, just chill in Japan? And I think aren't they having the New Japan show in LA like this weekend?
Tryouts, I think.
Well, whatever the thing was called. It's
yeah.
Long Beach thing.
Yeah. That is this weekend. Rey Mysterio is not going to be able to be there because of injuries. So, but yeah, it's this week.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, traveling is a part of the wrestling, deal. But I don't know if I do that. I don't know if I want to do that. Strong Style Evolved is what it's called.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, WrestleMania is definitely a big deal, but Okada's, God in Japan, and over here, obviously in that market with like the marks down there in New Orleans, sure, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah.
But and also that's going to be a hell of a show. I don't know where Access TV is on the television, but that if I could find that, I'm getting my magnifying glass out. If I can find that may be worth it. So one last thing. It's a very subtle thing, but it's kind of cool. Kevin Steen is apparently back.
What?
Kevin Steen is apparently back.
Wow. Or his channel?
Yeah. No, not. I wish. Kevin Owens has changed because he was fired. Has changed his Twitter handle to Kevin Steen.
Really?
Because, yeah. That's what it was as of like an hour, 2 hours ago.
Yeah, he's back. Fight Steen fight. That's not a good move because I can almost assure you that someone has. Let me just go check it right now. Fight Owens. No, I guess not. I was gonna say, I bet you someone took his other handle that quick. That's very dangerous right there. You'll never get it back.
Well, that might have to happen. Like, it might have to happen right now, I guess. But it is a thing, and it is interesting that just the little subtle nuances that one could do to being immersed in the character. So congratulations, Kevin Steen, and I really hope that the YouTube channel comes back because that was fantastic. Kevin Steen's Weekend Escapades and a great little vlog that he had before he got into WWE, but yeah, man, anything before we wrap the shenanigans up? I mean, I do have some Hulk Hogan news, but I hate him, so I'm not going to waste my time with that.
No, but Hulk Hogan can get Okada here if you want it.
I don't think Okada knows who Hulk Hogan is.
Everyone knows who Hulk Hogan is.
I don't know.
Everyone.
I mean, Kota Ibushi did go to Vince McMahon and say, "Who are you?" So
yeah, but Vince McMahon is no Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he is.
I don't have anything.
No, you can't talk wrestling in the U.S. and drop Vince McMahon's name and not go, "Oh yeah, him." I mean, like him or not, Vince McMahon is kind of a big deal. And for Kota Ibushi to fly to the U.S. into McMahon's tournament and go, "Who? Who are you? Who did you say you were, sir?" I don't know, man. I don't know what Japanese rock he was living under, but that's kind of crazy to me. especially since that happened in the U.S.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it was a interesting week. Very different week of wrestling. A lot of good news, and obviously with WrestleMania come up, it's going to be really interesting to see if it can maintain the hype. And I think people are genuinely excited about WrestleMania in a way that I haven't seen in quite some time.
Yep, for sure. I mean, again, it has a little bit for everyone. So people are going to make it their interest to watch or be a fan of whatever particular instance it is that they're a fan of. So it's all good.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's about time that WrestleMania has like an actual, feeling that it is, pretty important event instead of just being like John Cena versus The Rock for the 18th year in a row.
Yeah.
Or Triple H, closing the show again, which he probably will do this year because it's Triple H. But no, it's great. So WrestleMania is there, and of course you guys will be down there. Do you before we wrap this up, do you have an itinerary for WrestleMania yet? Or not even? You just gonna wing it?
I got 10 things, but I got to collaborate with some people still and figure it out. So we'll see.
Okay, so definitely keep in contact with that. WrestleMania is coming up, and you guys will be down there, so we'll definitely be getting some reports from the Big Easy, and I'm currently, I was before we started writing a review for Isle of Dogs, and I have a review for Pacific Rim tomorrow. Both of those come out this weekend, and those will be found on BigGoldBeltGroup.com. So make sure you check the website out for all of the wrestling news. It gets populated every day. It's a lot of shenanigans happening in the wrestling world, so keep up to date. BigGoldBeltGroup.com. But for me, Jamal, 2 Chains over there, this is the Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast. We'll do it again next week, Thursday, let's say 8-ish. See you there.
All right.